comes the, y'all don't really want it like, here comes the.
Hello friends, I'm Squid and I am back with another Wi-Fi battle against my buddy George. He's from Team Alpha, you've seen me play him before, he's a good buddy of mine. Got a lot of respect for him and his playing style, so we decided to do an NU battle. Now I'm bringing some stuff, I got Sudowoodo, Pyroar. Speaking of, huge shout out to Logan for this Pyroar. It's female, it's in a luxury ball. Her nickname is Sarabi. I was so excited. Because I did mention that I did want to raise up a female Pyroar named Sarabi in honor of the Lion King in one of my recent videos. And Logan hooked me up, man. This thing is awesome. I love using it in NU. This thing literally eats everything. So thank you for that, man. We also have Hariyama, which I ended up breeding up. A Swallow, which I wanted to try. We have the Assault Vest Vileplume, and we got my girl Miss Mabel in there with a Choice Scarf. So I do have a pretty solid team. And George has got some good stuff over here. He's got Sand Slash. I need to be careful because I need to keep my rocks around. Not only help me with the Typhlosion, but the Fearow as well. And it can help me break the Sturdy on the Nose Pass. So that's definitely some key things I need to do. Floetta is going to be a problem, but I can, since I know that the Typhlosion is most likely going to be Scarfed, that means my Choice Scarf on Miss Mabel is going to be pretty much useless because I outspeed everything on his team except for the Fearow, but I have other ways to deal with that, like Sudowoodo I could wall it. So I can trick away my Scarf to the Floetta, and take away the Eviolite and make it pretty much useless. So that's definitely some key stuff. The Garbodor, I'm not really too sure what it's going to do. I haven't faced too many. I know they usually play defensive roles with like Rocky Helmet, Toxic Spikes, Drain Punch, if you bred it back in 5th gen. The Fearow, I just know it's fast and it hits pretty hard. But big fan of Fearow in in Pokemon Stadium. But let's get into this. Oh my goodness. Oh, Squid's dying over here. Now, we will get into the battle now that I've caught my breath and stopped coughing everywhere. Now, I want to start off with my Sudowoodo here because I want to get up my Stealth Rocks as soon as possible. So, because I don't want to deal with Typhlosion. If he wanted to lead off with Scarflosion, you know, I have this in my backup. I have this Sturdy. Could have went for a Rock Tomb, lower his speed, take away that Scarf. But he's going to end up leading off with his Nose Pass here. And I do carry Earthquake. Unfortunately for me, he sets up his own Stealth Rocks. And I am fully defensively invested. I'm purely dedicated to support with Stealth Rocks and being a wall. So I do a really good amount of damage to it, but it's not enough. Now, I didn't really see him going for a Volt Switch. I more saw him going for a Flash Cannon to break my wall down and then losing his Nose Pass. But he ends up bringing the Fearow in. I wasn't really ready for that, just because, you know, I have super effective moves that can kill it. It didn't strike me as a good move until he reveals that he has Steel Wing, and it wasn't until later on in the battle, or, you know, after the battle, he told me this was Choice Banded. I knew it was choiced in some way, but I wasn't sure which way. And that's going to play a role, which I probably should have known that it was Choice Banded because he's doing a lot of damage to my fully defensive wall. And Sudowoodo does not have like a slouch defense. He's pretty solid. So I do end up getting my Stealth Rocks up. I end up going for the Rock Tomb finally. I do lower the speed, but Sudowoodo is so slow it really doesn't even matter. That's more for after I end up going down to force it out, because I will be able to outspeed with whatever I bring in next. So now what I'm going to do is finally go down to another Steel Wing, and I'm going to end up bringing in Miss Mabel here. Now I didn't want to go for a trick just because if he was Scarfed, then, or if whatever he was and I gave him my Scarf, then he'd outspeed the whole team, and I'd be dealing with 2 Scarfers at base 100, and I'm not really trying to do that because my physical wall's already down. So I'm going to make the safest play, and I will just go for the Psychic, and the Floetta takes that beautifully, which after this battle I actually went out and switched Psychic for Psyshock just because I didn't want to deal with Floettas anymore. So I'm going to actually make the switch out to my Vileplume. He's going to end up going for the Wish, and I figured, alright, this situation is Nose Pass is probably going to come in predicting me to go for a Sludge Bomb because it's super effective on Floetta and it's completely immune to Nose Pass. but after the Stealth Rocks, it is going to bring him down to a range where Giga Drain is going to be able to take him out since it is a neutral hit. So the fact that the Wish didn't get off on this is huge, because I really didn't have too much to hit it besides the Pyroar, which is going to be specs, but it's still going to be an issue. Like, nothing I want to deal with. Now, I'm stuck in a situation where I need to let something die, because my physical wall is down. This thing is super effective on me in here, and I don't want anything else to come in and take a super effective hit or just damage and then 2-hit KO, because I still didn't know if he was Scarfed or Banded at this point. So, still not knowing, I'm just going to go for a quick attack. It is going to be enough to kill even without the Guts, but the good thing is I will get my Guts boost on the following turn. Now, something kind of a misplay, but I didn't feel like it was worth the risk. He ends up bringing the Sand Slash in, and I could have predicted his Rapid Spin and gone for a Facade, but I ended up just going for a U-turn, because Swellow, I feel, is going to be of much more use later on, just because with that speed, base 123, and Facade, Stab, I felt like it would be a really viable Pokemon to keep around. Even though it's outsped by the Typhlosion, but I figured the priority for later is going to be really helpful. Now, he does Rapid Spin. It really does nothing to the Hariyama as I U-turn into that. And now, he's going to withdraw here, fearing the knockoff. He doesn't want to get his leftovers knocked off. So he's going to end up switching into his Garbodor. I thought maybe he could have switched into his Floetta, knock off that Eviolite. I was really kind of looking forward to that, but didn't happen. I ended up knocking off the Black Sludge. Now, I do carry Earthquake here. I haven't revealed it yet. So he's going to end up going for Toxic Spikes, and now I will get this huge amount of damage off with the Earthquake. It is super effective. I am actually running a Guts Hariyama with leftovers, just in case, you know, I can bait a Toxic or a Will-O-Wisp, and it will whittle me down slower than if I just had like a Flame Orb on me. So I actually predict him to go for another layer of Toxic Spikes here, and he ends up just going straight for the Gunk Shot. I did do a calc. Bullet Punch wouldn't have killed from that range, or would have been like really close. I didn't feel like it was worth the risk. And plus, I thought he was going to go for another layer of Toxic Spikes, which I figured, you know, I'm okay with that. I'll just go for an Earthquake and knock this guy out. So now he's going to switch into Floetta, which I end up switching out here. And now that I'm watching it, I probably could have just went for a Bullet Punch and taken it out. But I end up switching out, take the Moonblast with Miss Mabel, because I do have good special defense. And now I can take this opportunity to really cripple the Floetta and trick it to Scarf so that he'll be stuck into whatever move he wants to be stuck into. Now, I am going to trick, he is going to stay in, thankfully. And now the Floetta is stuck into whatever move it chooses. Turns out he's going to end up locking himself into Wish. Now, this is kind of good, kind of bad. It's good because, A, he can't attack me, that's great. The bad part is, whatever comes in is going to get a Wish, so he's Wish passing no matter what, and he can replenish his own health and pretty much, you know, Toxic Stall me down unintentionally with just Wish. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch out Miss Mabel, because I figure I could probably leave her for death fodder later on if I, you know, really stuck in a sticky situation. Now I'm going to bring in Sarabi here, and I figure, alright, nothing on his team wants to take a Specs Hyper Voice. There's absolutely nothing on his team that wants that. Now, he's going to Wish Pass into whatever, and I figure I could outspeed whatever is going to come in, except for one Pokemon. And that Pokemon is a Typhlosion, but I really don't see that wanting to take this Specs Hyper Voice well at all. So he actually Wish Passes into the Typhlosion. This is what I was hoping to see. And this is going to do so much damage. It's going to do just about 75%, which is, the relevance of that is humongous, because if he would have came in, hit the Stealth Rocks, that would have killed, and I would not have to deal with this. He goes for a Focus Blast, completely destroys me, because, first of all, I had a brain fart, and forgot that Focus Blast was a thing on Typhlosion, so that's really not good. However, like, I just lost one of my biggest threats on my team, one of the biggest threats in the NU tier altogether. And this Typhlosion is sitting at about 75% of health. Now, I do get a free switch into my Hariyama. I don't have Fake Out on this. I actually have Knockoff over Fake Out, Bullet Punch, Earthquake, and Close Combat. Now, I do have the Guts boost at this point. I end up going for an Earthquake. And I'm not sure... Well, actually, no, here's my reasoning. I don't go for close combat, which would have killed here because I didn't want to get my defense drops. And I figured, even if it doesn't kill, I can clean up with a bullet punch in the end. Now, I literally should have gone for close combat because it wouldn't have lived. I would have had my defense drops, but it's really whatever. It really kind of just evens out. Final thought, Sandslash is dead. That's what really counts. The bad news is I am down to a very minuscule amount of health where I really can't do too much. Like a bullet punch will be able to take out the Floetta from this range. The bad news is he has Protect. Now, he can either A, lock himself into Protect, which he does, and live and watch me die to Toxic, or he could have went for anything else, possibly died, and I would have went down anyway. So I'm actually going to go down to Toxic here, which is really unfortunate because I really needed priority to help me take out that Typhlosion. And with the Wish Pass, you know, that really helped him out here. So I'm just going to go into Swellow. He's forced to stay in with the Protect because it's really, what can he really do? Is he going to switch into the Typhlosion and take a huge amount of damage? I wouldn't expect that. So I will end up taking out the Floetta with the Facade. Now I do only have 2 Pokemon left. It's my Swellow and it's Miss Mabel, who is going to die on entry. So this game is pretty much sewn up. He's just going to go for an Eruption. I can't live that. The only way I would have killed him was with like a super crit, which would have, that doesn't exist. We all know that. So he pretty much locked me in. That Wish and the fact that he spun the rocks away really saved him here. And it turned out to be an incredible battle. You know, it's going to end up being a very slick 1-0, just how I like all my battles to be. So close and so well played out. But George, good battle, man. Always looking forward to him. Once again, shout out to Logan for the Pyroar. Sarabi, awesome. I wish it would have lived more in this battle, but I've had other battles and it has put in work. So, not worried about that. But I'm going to head out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.